Okay. Now I cut a piece of black paper down to 4.5 by 6, and I'm going to use it to make a flap. And the reason I'm doing this before I cover it is because I would like to hide the flap underneath my patterned paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take this flap, and it's going to be the whole size of the paper, and I'm just going to attach it like that. And then I can cover this paper. I'm going to attach this with score tape instead of my tape runner too, just to make sure that it's stuck down really well. And then I'm going to take and line it up with my page there, and then that's how it will work. And then once I cover this, it will be a part of the page. Okay, and then I also think that I want to create a flap inside of this one that goes up instead of to the side, and so I'm going to cut another piece. This is the scrap of what I cut off there. I'm going to cut this to 6.5. Get my scoreboard here. Nope, seem to have lost my score thing there. Cut this or score this at 6. Fold it. Here it is. Just like that, and then I'm just going to remove a little bit off the corner of those again, and then apply this. And this is not quite 4, it's just a little bit smaller, but that's okay because we want it to be able to fit inside of this folded page too, you know. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this at the top of my page. It's very important for this one that you do not go over your edge, because then that will interfere with how your album closes. Okay, so that's page 1, and now what we can do is put down our we can put down our patterned paper there. I think I want to use this one. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 6 because I don't want I want this to go right to the edges, so it's going to be exactly the size I need it to be. 4 by 6. Whoops. I'm going to save this piece because that's good for another one. And then I'm going to take this piece and just stick it right on there, make sure it doesn't interfere. And it overlaps a little bit, which means when I cut these down, I didn't cut them quite to 4 by 6, but that's okay because once I glue it down, I can just cut it off. And also, whoops, I'm also remembering that on this side is where my hinge is going to be. And so I'm going to cover up some of the stuff here because my hinge is going to go on here like so. Okay, and then that's how it's going to connect it to the next page. So when putting it on, you need to keep that in mind too. All I'm going to do is make sure it lines up with all of my top edge, my bottom edge, and the other side here, because I don't want to interfere with any of the folding. So that's good. I'm happy with that. Then I would turn it over. I will place it on here and I will remove the tiny bit of excess that I had on there. And now it looks perfect. And then this closes like this and this closes like this, and we have our first page done. And then we're going to flip it over, and this is going to be our next page spread. So I want to decide what I would like to do with this one, and I think what I'm going to do is for this one I'm going to put I'm going to put a pocket on here, and then on this one I'm going to attach another little mini album. So I need to make a pocket here, and I'm going to do that by just give me a second here. Just trying to flatten out my covers here. Okay, so I'm going to create a pocket now. And the reason I'm going to make a pocket is because this paper collection does have these little things with it, and I want to be able to use them. So I'm going to create a pocket so that I can stick them into the pockets. So let's see, let's decide, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this pink thing. I don't need that. I want my pocket to go, I want it to go up about 2 inches, but I also need to, before I can attach my pocket, I'm going to have to put my hinge on this one, because let's see, there'll be a hinge here, and then when I turn the page I need to attach this to the next page by having a hinge here, and I'll want to put that underneath my pocket. So what I need to do now is create my pocket. I said I want my pocket to go up about 2 inches, so I'm going to cut a piece of paper that is 2.5 inches, and this is 4, so I'm going to cut a piece of paper that is 5 inches, and what that does is that gives me an inch. It gives me a 1/2 inch on the bottom, and then it gives me a 1/2 inch on both sides to create the pocket. To do that, get my scoreboard. I have my score tool, and then I'm going to run 1/2 inch on the I have it in here at 2.5, and I did a 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch and 4.5 inches. Okay. Whoops. Then I'm going to cut off my corners here, just like that, because I don't want a lot of bulk underneath here. Okay. Then fold these up. Fold that up. And fold that up, and then make sure it fits perfectly, which it does. Okay, but then the next step then is I need to cover this one, and I need to put a hinge onto it so that I can put the pocket onto it. So for this one, I think I like, I have flowers. I think I'm gonna go with this nice black. So I'm gonna cut this to 4. Stick that aside and cut this to 6. And I could even save a little bit of paper if I really wanted to, and have this not cover where the pocket is, but it's not going to save enough to make it worth it, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover the whole piece. And again, I'm going to have a little bit of an overhang, so I will just trim that off. This, using the tape, is so much easier than using the glue. Like that. Done. And then after I use this, it generally has a little bit of a lip, so I like to just kind of run my bone folder over it so that it can kind of smooth it out. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to attach a couple of the hinges just to make it so that I know what I'm doing. But I need to figure out, because I did not keep them separated. Okay, my longer one, which is going to attach to the cover and to my page, I need to remove some of it. So what I'm going to do is I just made a little mark, and I'm going to cut it all the way through the gusset so that all that is left is this little flap. Can you see where I cut it? You can see I cut all the way through the gusset. Okay. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'm just going to, and you could save yourself some work and just make this the same as the 4x6. I just thought that it would look better on the cover if it was the same length as the cover. So now what I'm left with is a piece of paper or a hinge that will fit on this page quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my score tape and I'm going to apply it towards the bottom, and then what that does is, if I want to, when I start attaching things, when I start like putting pictures or whatnot into this album, I will be able to slip them underneath this first part if I want to. Alright, so now I have the score tape on there, and I have my thing folded so that I am matching it up right with where the spine of my book would be. And there we have it. And now you can see, well, you probably can't see because that's not gonna work. I'll take this piece and you can see, if I want to, I can slip it right underneath there. Okay? So that's the whole reason that we did that. And then make sure that all of your stuff will still fold up, and it does. And then we go to the other side, and now we know this is our hinge, so we want to apply another hinge to this side, and we're just going to use one of our regular hinges, which are 4 by 6. But because my pages are not quite 4 by 6, I need to remove a tiny sliver, and I'm going to do it before I attach it because I think it'll be easier. Okay, now we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to put my score tape up to the edge of the score mark, but not over it. And you can also, if you don't want these to show, if you don't want to have like this hinge here or whatever, you don't have to. You can hide these underneath the pattern paper too. Just like I did the flaps. Just attach them to the chipboard directly and then put the pattern paper over it, and then your hinges will be hidden. Okay, so I applied the score tape directly to both sides, right down by the spine, or right down by the gusset. I'm going to take off one side, and then I'm going to fold it so that that's right at the edge. Then I'm going to take and apply this as close to the edge of my, what's going to be the spine of my book, as I can, in an effort to keep all of my spine nice and flat. Now you can see I have, it's harder to see with the black, sorry. You can see I have 2 hinges on there, and then this is all set for my next page. But now what I can do is attach my pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to go, actually I'm not going to use score tape on this part because I don't need to. I'm attaching paper to paper. This, for me, my tape gun works just fine for paper to paper, and for things that don't get moved around all that much, I just use that. I'm lining it up with the edge of the book and making sure that it doesn't interfere with my fold at all. It does not. I just needed to move it down a little bit. And there we go. Make sure that it is pressed and stuck down really well. And there we have a pocket. Okay, so that's our first page essentially, all set to go. Opens like this and like this, and I will cover these after I'm done putting my actual pages together, okay? So I'm just going to stick that up there because I like to have a reference of what I want my next page to go with. So I have a completely black page there. I'm thinking maybe some perhaps I'll go with some flowers. And then what I'll do is to make this match on this part, I'll put something a little blue. Okay, I'm going to do this one then. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 and to 6. Put that up. To go with that one. Nope. I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm not putting anything on this one, so it doesn't really matter. I can go ahead and attach this page now. This page is going to get a mini album, or an accordion type mini album on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick my paper down right now without worrying about having to put anything underneath it. When you want to hide things like that, you just have to do a little bit of thinking beforehand so that you can determine if you need to put something underneath your pattern paper or not. Okay, flip it over, run my bone folder along the edges I cut just to help them lay a little smoother. There we go. And then this is going to get directly attached to that, but I want to figure out what I'm going to do on this side before I do that. So this is going to go here, and that's going to get a mini album. So this one, what should I do with this one? I think on this one, maybe I will attach an envelope. Yeah, that sounds good. So what I want to do is make an envelope that is this size. I think this will work. Okay, I'm gonna make like a policy type of envelope. So to do that, what I'm going to do is, this is 8.5 by 11, and if I want the envelope to be, I want it to be just a little bit smaller, I'm going to score it at 2 1/8 and 5 7/8, okay? And then go from there. 2 1/8, 5 7/8, and then I'm going to turn it around. And let's see, for this part, for the bottom, I'm going to score it at 7 3/4, and then for the top, I'm going to score it at 2. Alright, now we're going to turn this into an envelope. To do that, I'm going to remove this. And cut that in at an angle. Cut this part at an angle. Remove that flap. Then we're going to cut them up here, and we're going to cut this straight in. And we're going to cut this one straight in. And then over here we're going to cut this one straight down and straight in. Okay? So far this is what you have now. That's what your envelope looks like. Now we're going to fold it. Perfect. That gives us a good overlap. That's our lid and our flap, and this is our bottom. We're just going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive right there, and then just to make sure it's stuck, I'm going to put some there, and then we're going to apply some also to the bottom flap. Okay, then we fold this in, make sure the adhesive is good, and fold this up, make sure that's good. Then we want to, I'm going to corner around those. I'm going to use the smaller side of my Crop-A-Dile. And actually I think that this flap might be a little bit bigger than what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it down a little bit. I think I made it 1 3/4. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Round that, and we have a nice little policy envelope. To help this stay, I think what we should do is use a magnet. And the only way I can use a magnet is if I was going to cover this with paper. So I will have no choice but to cover it with paper, but that's okay. We'll cover it. And we also need to create then a hinge to attach this to our page. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it down to the length of our envelope. Okay. And then, because I'm too lazy to get out my scoreboard, I'm just going to go ahead and score it a little like that. And then stick it down, and that's going to stick down just like that to the back of, actually, you know what I want to do? Instead, I'm going to stick this to the front, but I don't want it to show, so I'm going to just cut those off a little bit, and then that way it won't show. Once I cover it with paper, it will be, once I cover this with paper, it will be stuck down and you won't even see this. Okay, but what I need to do is figure out, yeah, I want to put this so that it's face up, so it's gonna go like this. And it's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna just go like that. now let's stick a magnet on. Now I have these teeny tiny magnets, which there's so little that if I tried to show them to you, I don't think that I even could. Can you see how teeny that is? I'm going to use 2 of them. They're super small, but they are very magnetic. They will hold this paper even once I put paper in. Do I want that to be? No, I can't put that there. I'm going to have to put this on the top part of it. And maybe I will cover that with a flower or something. Okay, so I need a little piece of tape. I'm going to go ahead and put it up there like that. And I'm just going to use the tape to hold it down because it's too hard to use adhesive. And then what I do is stick another piece there. I take another piece of tape and put it upside down, kind of where I think the magnet is, and then I sort of just let the magnet find the other side, and then I close it, kind of make sure I stick the tape down, and then pick it up and stick it the rest of the way down, and then boom, it's closed. And it will stay closed. And then all I have to do is cover that with a little bit of something. Maybe I'll put a flower over that, and then I'll put pattern paper here, and no one will be wiser. But I do need, I think I need to put a little thumb pull there, because otherwise how are you going to reach in and get what's in there? We'll see. Alright, so I'm going to put some adhesive on this, line it up with the edge of the envelope, so that it will fit it really well. Close that, and then I'm going to take this, and I don't really think I need that much of a flap, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, and then, and now it's getting dark, so my colors are getting a little bit darker. Sorry about that. Let's up that a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put adhesive again up next to the score mark, but not over it. And I really hate to use up all of my score tape, so to help it, I'm also going to put a little bit of that. I'm kind of stingy with my score tape. And then I'm going to take this and put this kind of where I want it to be, but making sure that when I stick it down, it will come to the edge. Perfect. Okay, and now we have that. So now what we need is to cover this piece, and I think I'm liking polka dots. so again, I'm cutting this to 4 by 6. And then I'm going to while I'm stingy with my score tape, I'm not really all that stingy with my tape runner tape. I will tend to use a bit of that. Okay, so we have that. I'm just gonna turn it over and remove the excess there. If you need to, also you could, to help it, instead of cutting it, you could just file it if you have a little bit, just a little bit of excess. Just file it off and it would do the same thing, you know? And then it would help give it more of a distressed type of look. Okay, I want my thing to stay a little more sealed, but it seems to be, or a little more closed, but it seems to be having issues with that, so oh well. Okay, so we have that page done, and now this one gets stuck to this one. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to shoot. I made a little bit of a mistake. This one is going to have to go this way, because I did not, I put this on the wrong side of this one essentially. So now I have to put it here, but that's okay. Just change up my plan a little bit, you know? Make sure it all matches up really well. Okay, once that's done, then put some pressure on it and boom. There we go. Now we have 2 pages attached, and then we can go ahead and we can attach another spine here. I really need to put my big one away there. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take our score tape again, go ahead and apply this just right to the edge again. Remember, don't go over your score mark, but keep it close to your score mark. If you want to be able to slide things under it. If you don't want to be able to slide things under it, then by all means don't worry about where you place it, because then it really doesn't matter. Whoopsie. I forgot to remove a little bit of this one, so we'll go ahead and do that right now. just fine. Okay, so there we have that now. And again, we need to open it up and press it down really well. Okay, so on this page we're going to have a little an accordion type of mini album, and just a really mini accordion album. So on this page I'm going to do another pocket, and to do that I need I'm going to cover it, I think, with, I like this one a lot, but in order to use this one I need to cut it to 6, so I won't be able to get as much out of this one. Well, I guess I still will be able to. Yeah, I should be able to. So we're going to cut this one down to 6. And then to 4. Just like so. And then I'll cut it to 4 one more time. And that should give me 2. And I'll put those up there. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and apply this. Perhaps I should use green. You know what? I'm going to use the green side. I like the way the green looks better with the adjoining page. And gone. Okay. And then this one gets a pocket. So I need to grab another scrap or another piece of paper. And if I remember correctly, I did 2.5 by 5. And I can go ahead and attach this one because I need to put the pocket on top of this. Okay, open it up and put a little pressure on it, and there we go. Perfect. And now we create our pocket. How do I keep doing that? Okay. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 4.5 inches. Put that back and remove the squares. I just sort of chomp the whole corner off. Okay. It's a super easy way to create a pocket. And then we grab our page and apply the pocket. I like to line it up with the far side because then you can be sure that it won't interfere with the fold of your hinge. Okay, pocket done. And now the side. And I think what I want to do for this side is some flaps again. Except I think I'm going to do a flap that opens this way and I think I'm going to do a flap that will open like this and then again. So, to do that, I'm going to grab another sheet of paper. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut it down to 6 because I know that I don't want it any taller than 6. And instead of having to remove it later, I'm actually just going to remove a hair now. Okay? Then I'm going to take my scoreboard and I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch. Okay? And then I'm going to score it at, I don't want it to be quite 4 inches because I don't want it to interfere with the fold again. So I'm going to score this one. If I wanted it 4 inches, I'd score it at 4.5. So I'm going to do a 1/4 less and I'm going to score this one at I did it at 4.5 anyways. I'm going to score it at 4.25. And then I'm going to go over 4 more inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to score it at 8 because I went back 1. Okay. There we go. And then we have a tiny little one. So what this is going to do is it's going to open, it's going to stick on the page like this, and then it's going to open like that, and then like this. Okay, but this is going to bug me, so I'm actually going to start over. I'm just going to toss that piece and try again. Okay, do it one more time. We'll cut it to 6. Oops, I forgot. Just a hair under 6. Then score it at a 1/2 inch. And then 4 1/4, and then 8. Okay. Then create the fold like so. And this black paper is cracking way too easy. Okay. So I'm going to attach this part right here to the chipboard, and then it will open like this. And also, actually, you know what? I think I want to do it the other way. I want to attach this like that, and then it will open like that. Nope, I don't like that at all. Okay, so we're going to put that on like that. This will open like that. Oh, I wish that this didn't crack so easy. Oh well, what can I do? So it's going to open like, apparently I can't have it open the way I want it to. If I want the hinge to be here, then it will open like that, I guess. Alright. Whatever. I spent too much time thinking about how this is going to open anyways. I'm going to put my adhesive on. Believe it or not, this is how I scrap even when I'm not on camera. I talk to myself a lot. And I once got a comment saying that I talk too much. And I sort of ignored it because that's who I am. I talk a lot. It's just how I roll, I guess. I get picked on a lot because I do talk so much. But I guess that's part of why I like making the videos. Talking people through them, so ideal. Okay, so now we have that on there, and that's how it's going to open, and it will also open then like that. Alright, so then our next step then is to cover this one and apply a can't think of the word right now. A hinge, that's it. And I think I'm going to use this one. Nope, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to cut it to 4. Put that, whoops. Put that aside. Cut it to 6. Put that aside. Oh, I like that side. That's pretty. No, we're still going to go with this one though. I have a real problem with double-sided paper. I know it's convenient and it, you know, it's how companies like to work, but for me, I always feel like I'm wasting the other side when I put it down. Okay, we're just going to remove the excess. If you cut your chipboard better than I did, you won't have to worry about that step. Okay, that's down. I wonder if I want to put, I probably should have put a magnet down there, and then this would have stuck to it. But actually maybe it wouldn't have because too many layers of paper. Once I cover these, that'd be a lot of paper. Alright, so now we've got that. And now we go on to our next page. Whoops. Okay. Now we go on to our next page, which is going to be attached to that. So what do I want to put on this page? I think what do I want to put on this page? I think what I'll do is I'll take a break now and we'll come back with another video because I need to get some more light in here, and yeah, so I'll come back.